So a number of the speakers talked about kind of the basic problems of sort of managing data, bringing it from different silos, quality issues, and so to talk about that, and furthermore how the office of the chief data officer, the office of the CIO can be a partner to business to help drive this transformation. We have three amazing women. We have Shanthi Iyer from Cisco, Rashmi Kumar from Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, HPE, and Sharon Mandell from TIBCO. Please join us.
All right.
So we are between this session and the
alcohol.
So let's get this going. Hi, I'm Rashmi Kumar, and I work for HPE. Running applications area right now. Prior to this, I was at McKesson, Pharma CIO, and Data and Analytics, were in my portfolio. So we'll go through a quick round of introduction, a little bit about what is the state of data and analytics in a regular enterprise. So I personally feel like that red pill, blue pill dilemma. So I work for companies which are mostly north of 80 years old in my career, and a person who has red pill but have to act and behave like a blue pill and bring others along in the process, right? So I feel data and analytics, Ashok said this very well, that we are spending a lot of time in gathering data, cleansing data, bringing it together. That's where I have been for the last 20 years, I would say, from integration to ETL to EI, all the acronyms that we have developed in technology. However, there is an increasing demand on companies to drive to different type of solution, leveraging the new technologies, AI, ML, new companies which are coming up, and tools and technologies to get better customer experience or grow the revenue or grow the bottom line. It's a great problem to tackle. However, it will take a lot to get there, and that's what maybe we'll try to cover in the next 15 minutes. Shanthi?
Hi everybody, Shanthi Iyer, and I run the data office for Cisco. I got this job about a year ago when there was a change in the leadership from Chambers to Chuck, and then Chuck made a lot of changes to his leadership team. And then they decided to pull a big part of data management and in fact supporting analytics for the enterprise, consolidated a few teams and actually moved us out of IT and had us directly report to the COO. And what happened was, I think that's when I took the red pill. It's very different when there is support from the top, when there's sponsorship from the executives on how critical data is for a company to enable new business models. When Steve Lucas was talking here about experience is everything, that's the kind of change Cisco is going through right now. We are a 30-plus-year-old company. It's not like we don't have data, we have a lot of data. But to make the entire enterprise data-driven is, I think, for us the big challenge. How do we educate everybody? How do we make them trust and rely on data to make decisions versus gut feel and relationships? And I think I'm kind of right in the middle of that journey now, and it's pretty exciting.
So I'm Sharon Mandell. I'm also relatively new CIO of TIBCO. And prior to that, I've had a bit of a split personality. So I've been a CTO in the media industry for a long time. So we've been using data to get your attention for many, many years before there was a lot of talk of machine learning and AI. And what's interesting for me now is seeing where the networks and connectivity and the tools you can apply to the data passing through them are changing the speed with which we can deliver inferences, insights, and results and drive them through the enterprise. And I think on the consumer side, we're used to seeing that all the time, again, because the stakes may not be as high. In the enterprise, while things have accelerated at a consumer's pace, and we have started to disseminate responsibility essentially to the edge of our companies, we have to deal with the tensions of getting things right across in a central way, while enabling people to take advantage of the technology for agility to derive results in their areas. And I think that that's where we have the blue pill, red pill choice. I think, probably all three of us consider ourselves innovators, but if we go too far down that rabbit hole, we put potentially the company at risk, we put our customers' information at risk, we put our employees' information at risk, and that's the tension I think we fight every day.
Yeah, so from there, picking up some of the examples of where these companies, which I also call incumbent companies, have applied AI and ML and how they've brought it to the benefit of either the customer, employees, or partners in B2B scenarios as well. Dr. Simon was pretty clear about how oncology is going to leverage AI, and some of the examples I use from my McKesson days where kind of going through 1 million lab records and trying to see what are the results versus what is doctor's diagnosis. How can I integrate a model from there which could be a clinical recommendation engine for a physician. Even to a point where we could not get in front of an oncologist and talk about the model that we were building, but getting to the accuracy point that he mentioned. Computer vision has come a long way. CNN does a lot of stuff, but we were at the 94.8% accuracy level of analyzing all the lab records at the same time. And it wasn't good enough to take it to a physician. But we then could use it, the same methods and learnings that we had from there to apply it to a service request form. It's amazing how paper-based, as Dr. Said mentioned, healthcare in America is still. And you really start thinking that why I'm reading this paper through computer, why can't I go back and give the physician assistant a portal to input data versus giving this paper, which I'm now spending time to apply AI and ML to define this. Taking from there some of the examples where he mentioned pre-authorization and co-payment. In the business unit, there are people who are now defining these to figure out co-payment frauds or finding out adherence solution for patients, how to keep them on a regime, why a person wouldn't take a piece of medicine on a consistent basis. And in all these, the interesting point that I saw was we all in enterprise have tried that citizen data scientist word somebody used. It doesn't work actually. Somebody who just plays with the data and understands data but does not have the subject matter expertise or does not understand the algorithms that will create that answer that we are looking for, or even to ask the right question, right? So with that, I will ask you to provide some of the examples where you have seen this working or the challenges in enterprise.
See, from a Cisco perspective, I think we are just scratching the surface of what we're doing with core machine learning. So I'll give an example. So we really liked what Kaggle was doing. And a year ago, I went to Kaggle and I asked them, I have some big problems for the company, but I want you to expose the data only for Cisco. Because Cisco acquired a lot of companies and there was significant number of machine learning engineers like an AppD and the AI company that we recently acquired. And I wanted to tap into them to solve our core business problems, and I wanted to use a platform like Kaggle. And they said, no Shanthi, if we are going to expose the data, it's going to be for everybody. You have to expose it to the whole world. And I was like, no, not going to work. So we decided to do a Kaggle-like platform within Cisco. And what we tried to do as a use case there was, there are 10,000 plus service engineers for Cisco. They are distributed globally, and their job is to solve customers' network problems. And they either process RMAs, or they provide a cache, or basically solve the customer's network down issue. And there is a ton of data at Cisco about the learnings of these customers' issue. So our goal was, how do we automate like the first level TAC? How do we make that job autonomous? And what can we do with leveraging ML and AI? And I put it on this Kaggle platform. We ran the competition for 8 weeks and pleasantly surprised, so many top models came from outside of this country. And I never was exposed to that potential talent. So I found out very great people at Cisco now who are like in Israel and who are actually in various parts of the world. Like the one that was from China was also very good. And what I did after understanding and looking at their models was, one was building very heavily on the neural net of the support system, and one was building so actively very well on the natural language, asking a question, searching, answering. So I told them, can you two form a team and actually kind of co-innovate on the product? And they won the first prize, and I gave a big fat 50K cash award to that team. And now they are going to fly back here to San Jose to implement that in production. So I would like to do more things like that. So I mean, I actually leverage some of the Hive companies to solve some of our problems that way. But talent is hard, and we have to find, I feel, innovative ways to tap into this AI skill set sitting even beyond the boundaries of America.
So I get the benefit of learning from our customers. So what I see happening a lot for how we bring things into our enterprise is looking at how different industries that TIBCO sells to solves particular problems. My favorite story, and I haven't necessarily yet figured out how to apply this in the enterprise, but is where one of our customers is using AI and machine learning to and data that Steve talked about, that combining data that's kind of built inside government agencies, built inside corporations, and then the digital exhaust from everywhere else to reduce rhino poaching and turn around the black rhino population in South Africa, as well as stop diamond theft in the diamond mines and the diamond supply chain. And when you hear those people talk about how they solve the problems, it's literally a marketing person who understood certain domains and applied that to a set of tools and algorithms against a new domain. And so I think for me, being a smaller IT shop in a company that sells to much larger customers, I have to kind of look at those problems and figure out how do I bring them inside and understand what the specific techniques are that are solving it and find the analogous problem. And then assemble as well, understanding what types of data make up the variables that create those algorithms and pinpointing where they exist in my enterprise and bringing them together.
Yeah, and you went to talent a little bit as well as talking about the organizational underpinnings of the success of data and analytics, AI, ML in an enterprise. It was really interesting experience when working with a 200-year-old, 187-year-old company which has reinvented it many times, but people making decision from their inherent experience or gut, right? So it was a pharma wholesale distributor, suddenly overnight became a retail provider because of a bunch of acquisitions, and that's where the growth potential is. And thinking about where do we go next, which stores do I buy or open, and when you talk about to CFO or COO that we can do a model which can interpret it, and really their eyes like, what are you talking about? That's not possible. I've been in this business long enough to know what happens. As well as talking about some of the aspects of funding models. Large corporation like ours is still think a lot quarter to quarter, not like the startup community. Same talent sits there. How can we enable an ecosystem within a company where we can do a type of a seed funding and bring in 100 ideas, out of which 95 will be not good, 4 will return the money, but 1 will be blockbuster, which will be worth the entire investment. That was my second thing around organizational constraint, and third is talent and people. So some of the examples of talent was, I came to know through my kids that there's a boot camp in data and analytics, and actually both of them went through it. And when I was as a leading data, I brought in that company to train 100 data scientists. I left, but the training is still going on. And I sat through first 2, and they're kind of the projects that they presented at the end. It was amazing to see how much customer focus they had in that. And most of the projects were around how we improve our customer interaction in B2C or B2B type scenarios. So again, 3 areas. How do you get executives to buy into AI, ML, data science? How do you create the funding models and the talent to enable kind of all 3?
So one of the things I've been trying to do lately is, because people are skeptical, or they're in their method, they're still in the, I think it's the blue pill. They're still in their blue pill mode. I did see The Matrix, but 20 years ago, a long time. Is allow people, when we have kind of a critical problem where we're trying to get an answer, and maybe we need the answer more quickly than doing it the old way would allow you to do, is I sort of start an experiment, a low-cost experiment on the side, using some of the newer tools, because in a company, all of us come from innovation companies, everybody's dying to try the kind of sexy new thing. And it's low risk, right? Because you're doing the project in the same way you would have always done it, and that's the way people expect it. But at the same time, we have the opportunity and can create some successes in parallel that may surprise people. And then that gets attention on the people who are the ones who want to dive down that red pill, who maybe don't normally organizationally rise to the top, because they were the ones out there willing to take the risk and take a chance. And so if it doesn't go so well, we've learned, right? And we've learned what a certain technology might or might not solve. But at the same time, we didn't really take any huge risk because everybody expected you to do it a certain way anyway.
Executive sponsorship-wise, I would say, at least at Cisco, we are in a very good space. Because I think I was in front of Chuck and staff last week actually, and I was like, I need 5 things from you all here in the room. And I told them, the people below you cannot make this decision. You all have to make this decision. And I had 5 decisions in the board, and I walked out of the meeting with them agreeing that they will do it. If you don't get that level of commitment from the executives, I think it's hard to drive this as a groundswell. You're not going to get the right support from their functions. The other best mechanism I would say in terms of funding is, this happened for us 1 year ago, but it worked very well. Rarely funding is never the reason why we don't innovate. Most of the time companies get the money at the right places where the right problems are. I feel it's a matter of showing credibility. So you have to start small and show them that there is value in what you do. Because the value that I showed in the data space was, hey guys, you all have your own data islands, fabulous. You love your metrics, fabulous, but I'm the only one in this company that can connect everything. You will never get data as rich as I have, right? And once you started showing that value, then they kept coming. And I know you asked about talent, I'm hiring.
Absolutely. I know we have a couple of minutes left, but I would like to touch upon the next thing that happened based on data and analytics and AI ML is the process automation, either intelligent robotic, wherever we are going. I personally see a lot of opportunity, more at the tactical level, is reducing the mundane tasks and taking it to the next level. These are not the robots walking around, but just making more uniform decision, correct decision, getting people out of the equation on some of the very mundane type tasks which people anyway didn't want to do. Either it's in the finance organization, sales ops, that's where it has the maximum traction in enterprise. What are you seeing? I feel that the new companies which has come up have really helped us to kind of get organized around that topic. Some people call it glorified macro. So what? If a company has been valued at $7 billion just being a glorified macro, I would go do it.
Well, I certainly see potential, to do whether it's, glorified screen scraping or actual intelligent algorithms. If something can help the process where you normally had to put very expensive business analysts out at the edge to understand at the level of depth how to automate that, if we can get those things faster, it certainly will improve our cost and our bottom line. I'm not sure it's the thing that's going to transform the enterprise into the digital space or create the engagement with customers that we all hope to get.
I believe in automation. I think we are not there yet where we can tell you the truth. but we have a long way to go at Cisco in terms of automation. I think one of the most important things automation provides is cleaner data. I'd rather have everything automated than have a bunch of 200 BPO people sitting and entering it.
And the next one is intelligent, right?
Leads to bad data.
Next one is intelligent, the pricing algorithm, the orders, how you convert it and make it better customer experience from there. So with few seconds left, I'll open the floor up for questions.
Questions?
No, we are ready.
Few times.